What's up guys, my name is Stoody and I'd like to welcome you all back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my round 6 tips for the 2023 AFL season. Before we get into this week's tips, we're going to have a look and see how I went last week. So last week I got 8 out of 9 correct tips. It was a pretty easy week for tipping. I am now on 32 total tips for the season. Now we don't really need to go full in depth of what I got right and wrong because I only got one tip wrong, and that was I tipped Melbourne to beat Essendon. I don't know how that could possibly happen. It must have been some sort of match fixing, maybe a combination of match fixing and Melbourne playing terribly for something like that to happen. But anyway, most people should have got at least 7. If you got less than 7, you've had a terrible week, to be honest with you, and you would have gone down in your tipping competitions, that's for sure. I'm again leading all my tipping competitions, so that's perfect. Now let's get into this week's tips. Now the first game of the week is on Friday night, and thank fuck they've gotten rid of the Thursday night games. God, I hate them. We have Fremantle taking on the Western Bulldogs at Optus Stadium. Now this one is a very tough one. You know, Fremantle back in form. What kind of Western Bulldog team are we going to get? Are we going to get the good version or the really trash version? Who knows? Last year Fremantle beat Western Bulldogs in the elimination final at Optus after the Western Bulldogs choked a 41-point lead against them. I've really thought about this and I've gone with Fremantle, and I'm going to be tipping Fremantle to win by 3 points. This one can just go either way. Fremantle, they haven't been in the best form, but I heard rumours that they did alright against the Suns. Western Bulldogs also lost to Port, who I don't think are that great. So 65% have gone with Fremantle. It's a safe option, I think. But if you tip the Bulldogs and you get that one right, you can really catch up in your tipping comps. But if you get it wrong, you're behind the 8 ball. I'm going to go Fremantle. It's at home for them, and it's the popular option. Also, you just don't know what's going to happen in this game, so just going safe. Moving on to Saturday afternoon, we have Port Adelaide taking on the West Coast Eagles at the Adelaide Oval. We don't even need to think about this. It's pretty obvious that I will be tipping Port Adelaide in this game, and I'm going to be tipping Port Adelaide to win by 55 points. That Adelaide Oval, home ground for them. Eagles, one of the worst teams in the league, so Port should easily account for them. West Coast have a bunch of injuries, so Port should take advantage. Saturday Twilight, we have the US Giants taking on the Brisbane Lions at Manuka Oval. Now this one is pretty straightforward as well. I'm going to be tipping Brisbane to win this one by 42 points. Brisbane clearly are the better team. Giants did get a win over the Hawks, but only just. And really they should have been beating the Hawks easily because the Hawks just aren't that good. So Brisbane should just go out and get the job done against the Giants. Saturday night we have Geelong taking on Sydney at GMHBA Stadium. I'm going to be tipping Geelong to win this one by 14 points. Sydney, they were versing a VFL team last week, plus that match was rigged and Richmond were robbed big time. So Geelong should be able to beat Sydney here. It's at Geelong's, home game. They shouldn't be playing at GMHBA anyway. They should be playing at the MCG. The joke how Geelong have a massive advantage over the rest of the Victorian teams. I feel like the teams are pretty even on paper, but I'm going to be going Geelong in this one. Moving on to Sunday afternoon, we have Hawthorn taking on Adelaide at Utah's Stadium. I'm going to be tipping Adelaide in this one by 20 points. Adelaide are in some really good form. They just smashed Carlton. The Hawks a very narrow loss to the Giants, but the Hawks are getting smashed against some good teams. The Crows, after a bad first 2 games, have really got their shit together again and have beaten a couple of top 8 teams. So I think they can go to Tasmania and beat Hawthorn. You can easily see Hawthorn getting the dub here because you can't really trust a young team like Adelaide to consistently perform. But really they're the better team, they're in some great form, Crows should win. Coming up to probably the hardest game of the round to tip, we have Carlton taking on St Kilda at Marvel Stadium. Now this one is 50-50, 51% Carlton, 49% St Kilda. So if you can get this one right, it's very, very handy. So I'm going to be tipping Carlton in this one by 27 points. I think Carlton are clearly the better team. I don't rate St Kilda that much. I'm telling you, St Kilda will not make the 8. They've played some really easy teams and have been helped by the match fixing as well. However, Carlton are another team that gets severely protected by the umpires. I've heard rumours that Gilly McLachlan is planning on making sure Carlton get really deep in September. So you got to go Carlton based off of the fact that they're the better team. St Kilda are just severely overrated. Moving on to Sunday Twilight, we have the Gold Coast Suns taking on North Melbourne at Metricon Stadium. I'm going to be in Gold Coast in this game by 25 points. Gold Coast choked against Fremantle last week, so they're going to want to come out and play well. They have an opportunity to get a second win on the board. I think they should do that against North, considering it's their home ground. But North can easily come out and beat the Suns as well, because North, they have definitely improved. I'm going to go Gold Coast. 80% have gone with Gold Coast. It's a safe option. And because I'm going so well in the tipping, I don't really need to take stupid risks. Moving on to Monday night, Anzac Eve, we have Melbourne taking on Richmond VFL at the MCG. Now, I'm not going to go and talk about this one. You know, it's an AFL team versus a VFL team. Plus, this game will obviously be rigged. You've just got to tip Melbourne because Gilly McLachlan's going to try his best to make sure Richmond VFL do not win. So I'm going to be tipping Melbourne by a rigged amount. Move on. Tuesday afternoon, Anzac Day, we have Collingwood taking on Essendon at the MCG. I'm going to be tipping Collingwood in this one by 65 points. Essendon again, I don't know how they beat Melbourne, but they're definitely overrated. Other than Melbourne, they've just been bashing up on lower placed teams. And Collingwood, they're one of the better teams in the league. So Collingwood, I think, are going to go out on Anzac Day and just smash Essendon. Collingwood do have a tendency to win the Anzac Day games more times than not. So going to go Collingwood. Should be able to beat Essendon and beat them quite easily. But anyway, those are my tips for round 6. Feel free to leave your tips in the comment section down below. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Be sure to click the thumbs up button and leave a like on this video. Also be sure to join my Discord server. It is called Australian Sports Community. Link to that is in the description. Also be sure to subscribe to my second channel. It is called Stoody Archives. Link to that is also in the description. Also be sure to follow me on my other social media accounts. I have Instagram, I have Twitter, and I also have TikTok. The username for all of those is StoodyYT. Links to all of those will also be in the description. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next video.